Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? I know it's been a while, so I decided to do something a little bit different. As you know, I've been really focused on my fitness recently, but I've gotten injured, and so while I have all this time on my hands, I'm going to do something different and talk about something that I'm very passionate about, which is movies. This is Brian Zhao from the Mainstream Moviegoer, and we're going to talk about the Oscars today. So right off the bat, I think this was probably the safest or least controversial Oscars that anyone has seen in recent times. Again, like last year, you didn't have a host, which I actually think was pretty good because then you ended up having different actors and actresses come on and present and tell jokes in their own manner, which I think is actually quite a good change. There was, I think, a huge emphasis, and the only political thing that I kind of saw was the emphasis on kind of women directors and women everything, which is fine, but I think a lot of it was just kind of being shoved into the show. They definitely deserve the recognition, but I think that there was a more tasteful way to go about it. Natalie Portman had a very tasteful way to go about it, and her dress actually had embroidered in her dress the names of directors that she thought was up there. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a good recognition, good little protest. Nobody was offended. So as you all know, the biggest winner of the Oscars was obviously Parasite, so congratulations to Bong Joon-ho. And with the director Bong Joon-ho, congratulations to them. They took home 4 Oscars, which I think is actually the most out of any of the movies. I mean, they broke records here. First international film to win Best Picture, those first Oscars for Korea in general, and they got 4 of them. So congrats and big ups to them. I think the best thing about them winning the reward was that Bong Joon-ho just seems like a very stand-up guy. Like if you look at his actual speech, he gives credit to everyone that worked with him. He gives credit to the directors that inspired him. He was just a very stand-up guy, and you could tell everyone that worked with him really enjoyed it. And you really kind of got this moment where Quentin Tarantino was kind of just like a big brother to Bong Joon-ho, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, before we go into the actual awards, I think one of the things that I was surprised about was obviously Eminem performing. When he came out, I think everyone was like, But it was great. It was a good performance. It was super awkward. Everyone in the crowd was just sitting down, rocking back and forth, and you can tell Eminem was trying to kind of get the crowd going, but no one was really into it that much. Or people were just in their suits and their dresses and constricted in their movements that they didn't want to get up and move. But either way, I thought it was awkward. Now, even though there wasn't a host this year for the Oscars, I thought it was really funny. One of the standout moments was Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell coming out and kind of flubbing the definition of cinematography. I thought that was fantastic. I thought it was great. It really showed their deadpan delivery in their jokes. I thought it was great. Another funny moment was when James Corden and Rebel Wilson came out dressed as a cat and was kind of ripping their own movie, and that kind of self-deprecating humor was good. Another funny moment was when Brie Larson, Sigourney Weaver, and Gal Gadot came out in like this superhero, hey, let's all come together as super gals. And I thought that was a little bit awkward because you can tell they were kind of saying like, hey, yeah, we're very powerful women, but guys, you can be powerful too. And then it was kind of awkward between the 3 of them, especially Brie Larson. It seemed like she didn't really want to be there. But that was my personal opinion, but I thought that was awkward and thus hilarious. But I think the funniest moments was when every time Bong Joon-ho won an award, he didn't know that he was going to win a subsequent award, so he insisted on drinking more every single time he won an award, and I thought that was great. So let's see if he survives the rest of the night. Okay, so full disclaimer, I didn't watch all the movies, and a lot of the different shorts and the documentaries I had never seen. So I'm just gonna pop up here all the awards that I didn't really care for because I didn't really see any of the movies. So here they are. All right, so now on to the actual awards. So I think for the most part, most of the winners were expected. So you got Best Supporting Actor for Brad Pitt, that was expected. Best Supporting Actress for Lauren Dern, I think that was also expected. Cinematographer for Roger Deakins, I think if Roger Deakins didn't win that one, I would have been so surprised. What they were doing with 1917 to make it a one-shot, that is just technical mastery on a different level. Obviously, international film, feature film was gonna go to Parasite. I think lead actor Joaquin Phoenix and lead actress Renee Zellweger were all pretty much expected. Joker getting the original score, I mean, that music that was composed whenever he did something, whenever he was dancing, oh, it was the best. And then film editing for Ford v Ferrari, expected. I thought 1917 getting sound mixing was interesting, and then sound editing went to Ford v Ferrari. That made me question, what's the difference between mixing and editing? I know it has something to do with putting sounds together and then also kind of mixing the tonalities and levels, but if you know what the difference is, write in the comments below and help me out here. Okay, so these surprises of the night, these are the ones that were interesting. So the first surprise that I got, original screenplay, Parasite Bong Joon-ho. I thought this was surprising because I thought several of the other movies had very interesting screenplays that were very difficult to execute. And I thought the way that they were written were fantastic. So some examples, 1917 in the direction, Knives Out as an original story, but also Marriage Story as well in terms of the dialogue. So I thought that was an interesting choice to give it to Bong Joon-ho, but when you actually kind of see the translation, it's warranted. Now, my favorite award that was a pleasant surprise was Adapted Screenplay for Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit. I thought that was fantastic. I thought there were other ones that could have also bumped up against Taika, so Little Women adapting the Little Women original novel, or even Joker, basing it on obviously the comic book character. But I think Taika Waititi, well deserved. So I think 1917 winning visual effects was probably expected, but I wasn't surprised that they didn't give a nod to Avengers Endgame or any of the more cinematic spectacles. Obviously, Parasite swept. So they got Best Director and Best Picture. I think that was a surprise. I was expecting 1917 to win a lot more of the awards. I was actually hoping for 1917 to win Best Picture. And for Best Director, I was actually hoping Todd Phillips would win for Joker. But I think well deserved again for Parasite. I think it was both a great picture and had a very good director. And the one that surprised me was set design. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won set design. But when I think about what they did for 1917, I was surprised 1917 didn't get the nod. They had to set up every single structure, and they had to also set it up so that the timing as the camera moved through the sets were also done well. And not only that, but they had to make lighting, use different times of day to make sure that the shots were all done correctly. I thought that the sets would have made were a lot more important in 1917 than the sets were to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So my takeaways from this Oscars, I think they are going in a direction that is a little bit more safe, a little bit more PC maybe, but it wasn't so political this time. I generally agreed with a lot of the awards that were given out. And I think if anyone has a takeaway from this whole award season, you should go watch Parasite. I'll probably get it when it comes out on Blu-ray DVD, which I think it is actually. Maybe go buy it. Anyways, go watch Parasite, and I'll see you in the next video.